First on, let me know.
All right, I'm gonna get started. So what I'm gonna do is I'm really going to address the questions that you all had on your Facebook, on my Facebook post that I made about 36 hours ago or so. A lot of you had some really good questions. Most of them are around really how we get started with blockchain and what is blockchain, right? What is this thing that we're hearing so much about? What is cryptocurrency? Can we do it? Is Bitcoin still a thing? How do we get started? Some of the questions: can we make money? Is this a scam? Is this a multi-level marketing scheme? Are there blockchain projects we can participate in from home? Do we need expensive computers? Then I'll also speak a little bit about my own project toward the end. So I'm going to get started first with what is a blockchain. So the easiest way to imagine what a blockchain is to go back in time a bit. Go back to the bank ledgers and back in the 1800s, right? When you walk up to a teller, there's no computer, right? There's none of that yet. You just have this big fat book with paper and pen and ink and stamps. And what the teller is doing is making a record of the transaction that you're conducting with them across the teller window, right? You've come in to make a deposit, or perhaps you're going to buy a parcel of land, or you're making an amendment to a deed or a lease that you hold somewhere back in the day, right? So what the bank ledger was doing was creating a record of the transaction that is immutable, meaning the ink, once it's set onto the page, cannot be changed, okay? Unless it rains, of course, and all that kind of stuff. But for the purpose of this metaphor, or for this analogy, we're looking at a bank ledger, we're looking at a page that's recording a transaction, and it's being done in ink, and that cannot be changed. If there needs to be an amendment to the transaction, okay, let's say you come in a week later and you make a new deposit, okay, that page is left alone, and a new page is flipped over and the transaction is recorded there, okay? So blockchains are working in a really similar way. It's just a digital version of it. The first block in a blockchain is called the Genesis block. And that is the block that defines the parameters of the chain, how long the security keys are in rotation for, how many blocks we're gonna have, what's the circulating supply, what is the value of the blockchain in terms of its cryptocurrency. And all of the different conditions that allows the blockchain to move over time, okay? So what the blockchain is doing is it's taking the old bank ledger and bringing it into the digital world, okay? So that transactions that are made and stored in a block are immutable, they can't be changed, right? You can amend the information by creating a new block, right? By moving forward in time and creating new blocks. As each block is created, it has new information. It's stored on the blockchain. What makes a chain is one block after the other in sequence, obeying the laws of the Genesis, the first block. Okay, so that's what a blockchain is in very, very simple lame terms. So I think the blockchain technology that most people are familiar with is Bitcoin. Okay, that blockchain came into view in 2009. And Bitcoin is a certain kind of blockchain, okay? Bitcoin is a blockchain that is a proof of work mechanism, right? What does proof of work mean? So imagine that you want a token of Bitcoin, all right? Right now, a token of Bitcoin is worth about $11,700, one token, okay? So there's a lot of energy going into doing what's called mining the Bitcoin off of the chain, okay? So in the proof of work blockchain world, the new block is created when a complex puzzle is solved, okay? So what is the complex puzzle that's being solved? It's an encryption puzzle. And so what the miner has to do is attach to the blockchain and try to solve the puzzle. And if it solves the puzzle, a new block is created. New blocks are created when the puzzles are solved, okay? And in this case, if you're a miner and you're able to produce a block by solving the complex puzzle, you're awarded the block and you now have $11,700 on the blockchain in terms of cryptocurrency, okay? Let me kind of back up a little bit so you guys can understand how the blockchain is moving over time, okay? So remember the bank ledger, you get one piece of paper, you get a stamp, you get a record of a transaction, right? Immutable, cannot be changed. If there needs to be a change or if there needs to be an addition or amendment to that block, a new block is created, okay? So in the computer world, what is holding the blockchain? Where is the blockchain, okay? In the computer world, the blockchain is sitting on what's called a peer-to-peer network. I don't know if you guys remember Napster. Or Napster back in the day was to get and download music from all over the place, or BitTorrent, right? All those free movies and everything was doing off of Pirate Bay. The way that was working was, let's say you wanted to go download Blade Runner, for example, okay? It's all copyright, of course, and it's not legal to do that. But let's just say you want to do it, you go through Pirate Bay, you're a pirate, and you want to go download the movie Blade Runner or a Game of Thrones series. The way that the peer-to-peer network in that world works is there are, let's say, 1,000 computers distributed across the world that each have a copy of the movie Blade Runner, okay? When you go to the network, you asking for a copy of the movie. And so you start to download it from the very first available peer or computer that is available to give you a copy. But let's say he goes to lunch and turns off his computer and now you can't get the copyright. Well, the software, that is the BitTorrent software or the Napster software, what it does is it keeps track of all the peers that are available that have a copy of Blade Runner. And it starts to download pieces and chunks of it from different computers simultaneously. So it's actually streaming pieces of the Blade Runner movie from different computers that are distributed across the world. So if one computer goes down, another computer still has the copy and is providing that copy to you, and then you get a complete copy of Blade Runner. So blockchains are really similar, okay? The difference is Blade Runner, the movie itself that you're making a copy of, is a database. And the database is holding a ledger of all the transactions that have taken place since the genesis, since the beginning of the blockchain. So what are the transactions that can sit on a blockchain? Financial transactions can sit on a blockchain. Supply chain transactions, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, all these people that make things, they're sourcing their resources from China, Australia, Mexico, Africa, Canada, United States. Those are all supply chain streams, right? The blockchain's really good foundation for sourcing that information and putting it together and storing it in the database that is the blockchain, okay? Some of the other things that blockchains can do, and now what I'm doing is I'm going into use cases for blockchain so you can see. Let me slow down here a little bit, I'm excited. And I don't know if anybody's saying anything because I can't see the comments. I'm gonna go see and check in here. Thank you, Sabrina. I'm gonna, you know, if you could comment in the messenger, and if you're losing track, if you can't hear me, if I'm too loud or I'm too low or I'm moving too fast, okay? I'm excited, a little nervous. I really want to get this information out to you guys. The blockchain cryptocurrency market is really still in its early phases, okay? And I'll speak to what that means in terms of financial gain here pretty soon. You'll be able to understand what that means in terms of investments that you can make in the space. But the first thing I want to do is kind of really give meaningful value to blockchain. I don't want blockchain to be too abstract for you, okay? So assuming that you've been following, you see that the blockchain is a digital ledger, like an old bank ledger, and it's storing information in a database, and there's a copy of that same database on every single computer in the world that is participating materially in the blockchain, okay, as a copy of that. So what does that do? That gives the blockchain resiliency, right? It also makes the blockchain a database that can potentially be very high performing. Because what you have is you have a distributed network of computers around the whole world that are each holding a copy of the thing that you need. So if something slows down or something happens to some computer in some part of the world, you still have access to it and you're still getting the high-speed download of it. So it's still a viable layer. My daughter checking in with me, filling the house with my voice. My office is part of the house, not a separate, it's a separate place. So family just got back. So what are some of the problems we solve with blockchain? Can we pay the bills with cryptocurrency? Yes, we can. There are right now in the world estimated to be 3 billion bankless global citizens. What does that mean? That there's global citizens, people in the world who don't have access to financial services the way we know it. They don't have a bank, they don't have credit, they can't get loans, they can't move their energy in currency, but they do have a smartphone. And so a lot of them do. So the smartphone can help them establish digital identity. Right? That's another thing a blockchain can do, is establish digital identity for the bankless citizens of the planet and provide them with banking services and financial services. Another thing that the blockchain space is in evolution around right now is the mechanisms that are producing those blocks, because the blocks have value, okay? And so there's a mechanism called proof of work, which is the solving of a complex puzzle to create a block. There's another mechanism called proof of stake. What proof of stake does is it says, okay, instead of, I'm gonna pause there for a moment and give you guys an example. I think I can share my screen here. I'm gonna give you guys an example of how much energy Bitcoin is using as a proof of work blockchain mechanism, okay? The issue with Bitcoin, in the way I see it right now, Bitcoin is the gold standard in cryptocurrency. It's a very secure blockchain. It has a very high grade of encryption, and it's very difficult to make a block because it's very difficult to solve that puzzle, the complex puzzle that's on the chain that they're trying to break, okay? Kind of like a game. But what happens is it's a game that everybody speculates has value, right? Just like the stock markets and any other investment portfolio, other investment opportunity that you look at, there's always a perception of value going on, okay? And so in this case, there's a perception of value in the cryptocurrency space. And briefly, what cryptocurrency is, it is the value, the monetary value that is attributed to a unit on the blockchain, okay? So a coin or a token on the blockchain has value because it's offering meaningful utility and function to the ecosystem that it's in. And some of that meaningful utility and function is digital identity, the storage of privacy, the storage of financial information, the ability to develop applications on the blockchain, the ability to have to provide financial services to the 3 billion bankless of the planet, reduction of commercial friction. What does that mean? Reduction of commercial friction is something along the lines of this. You're a big supplier and you have contracts with vendors all over the place sourcing the materials for your contracts. There's a lot of communication and agreement and contract that has to happen to all those sources to funnel into your project and for you to make the thing that you're making from all those resources. If you can reduce the friction that is happening in terms of all the chatter and communication, everything that's happening globally to get your product to market, you can make yourself more efficient and more profitable. Blockchain is a fantastic layer and foundation for reducing commercial friction. So I'm gonna segue here for a moment into Bitcoin in terms of the amount of energy that it consumes on the planet right now, okay? I'm talking about environmental impact. That's my biggest concern with looking at this particular crypto. I'm gonna share the screen here. Share. Okay. I am assuming you can see what I am sharing. I'm gonna get a and ask my sis here. Can you see share? I'm gonna make sure that you guys can see what I have on the screen. Okay, good. Thank you, Sabrina. I can see these Facebook Lives, and they really need a co-pilot to keep track of comments and questions and whatnot. Okay, so here's what we're seeing. Right now, the mining operations that are distributed around the planet that are mining Bitcoin for its value, they're trying to make a block by solving that complex puzzle. That whole operation that is Bitcoin mining is consuming, as you can see here on the screen, almost 60 terawatts of electricity per year. And as you can see on the screen, when you compare that to the amount of electricity that countries are consuming, Kuwait is consuming less than Bitcoin. Switzerland is consuming less than Bitcoin. You see what I mean? As the blockchain progresses over time and starts to reach its saturation point, its maximum capitalization, the hashing rate and complexity of the blockchain is going to be so high that this number is going to be 10 times what you see it right now. And that would be equivalent to the country of Canada. I know, it's mind-blowing, it's completely bizarre. And so there are other projects out in the blockchain sphere that are answering that problem. And they're doing it by creating another kind of blockchain that validates through consensus the legitimacy of the block, all right? The block has to be legitimate because when you have a global distribution of peers, right, computers that are all holding the database, they all have to say, oh yes, I got that record and that record's correct. Hey, you Australia, did you get that record? Is that record correct? Yes, it is. How about Germany? Did you get that record? Is it correct? Yes, it is. Of course, this happens very quickly, but the validation that a block and its what's in the block gets through the network gives it a very high degree of validity through the consensus protocol that is being moved by that particular blockchain. So that's another reason why blockchain technology is really coming up into the fore right now, because it is a technology that allows for information to be stored in an immutable form that is undergoes a high level of validation and consensus to legitimize it. And this all happens very quickly at the computer layer, okay? So the other kind of mechanism for blockchains is called proof of stake, okay? So the difference between proof of stake and proof of work is in a proof of stake mechanism. What we have here, hold on a second, we got to work on my meeting controls. Stop share. Okay, good. We'll come back to that here in a bit. Pick up my document over here. It's going to help me track some of your questions. Okay, so proof of stake. What proof of stake is doing, saying this, if you guys, think of those times you've gone to a festival like a circus or like a big amusement park, and you come into the park and sometimes they give you an opportunity to buy raffle tickets, right? And the more raffle tickets you buy, the higher likelihood you have of winning the raffle, right? Because if you have a lot of raffle tickets in that hat or the box or whatever it is they're drawing the raffle ticket from, the likelihood of your ticket being drawn on a random election, a random drawing, the probability for that is higher, okay? So what proof of stake blockchains are doing, and the projects that are getting behind proof of stake in the cryptocurrency sphere, what they're doing is they're saying the value of the project is validated by the community of holders of the cryptocurrency that bring their holding, their wallet, they stake it and participate in the blockchain by saying, your blockchain has value. I'm putting my wallet here, and my wallet has so many tokens of this cryptocurrency, okay? So the protocol on a blockchain like that is going around looking and seeing how much currency is staked into the blockchain and participating in this community, and who has the most, and who has the least. And I'm going to start what's called an election process, a slot election process, to see who's going to be the leader in producing a block, okay? In the blockchain world, it's all about the block. The block is what has the value, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about value in the block for a moment, so you understand why are people attributing monetary value to blockchain technology. And when I say blockchain, you have to think as cryptocurrency being the financial component of the blockchain. Okay, the blockchain is those blocks that are in the chain that we talked about, the pages of the stamped ink, right, that are immutable, they're moving over time, and they're being stored on the blockchain, okay? So what gives that value? Why are people attaching money to that? That is the layer on top of the blockchain that we call cryptocurrency, okay? Cryptocurrency is the speculative perception of value that the blockchain is offering its ecosystem. Now, the ecosystem of a blockchain is global. It depends on what kind of blockchain you have. You can have a decentralized blockchain. We'll talk about that for a moment, or a centralized. A decentralized blockchain is when the material contributors and witnesses of the consensus validation process of the blockchain are the community, the world, you and me. It's not a central bank, it's not the Federal Reserve, it's not the government and all of the political entanglement that those agents and entities can have in our monetary supply. So there's a really big push right now toward decentralization because it gives the community of people that are investing their currency and in the activity of the blockchain, the power to vote and be part of the governance of that form of currency. So there are projects right now that are setting themselves up to be new global financial systems, okay? These glyphs that you see behind me, it's part of a project called Cardano that I've aligned myself with for the last 3 or 4 months, okay? They're a proof of stake blockchain and they just went decentralized. It's been a week, literally today, a week ago, we went from a centralized federated system to a decentralized system where the community will have voting governance in how the project moves and in how the currency is used on a global scale. This project is building a global financial system, and I'm very interested in that. Mainly, my biggest personal reason for that is I see the entanglement that politics has in our monetary supply. I think many of us have. So I'm very much interested in that changing. And I'm very much interested in being able to participate with a louder voice, a more meaningful voice in the community that drives the value of the currency that I'm subscribing to, okay? As time goes on, these alternative currencies, these cryptocurrencies will have value in terms of, you got a crypto card, you go to an ATM, you withdraw crypto. You go to a supermarket, you can pay your bill, you can pay your loans, you can pay your electrical bills. People are doing this already, okay? And I think this is a trend and we're gonna see a lot more of this. I'm gonna do another Facebook Live and I'm gonna speak more about political governance, regulation, and what's happening in the larger global sphere around cryptocurrency, okay? So I really want to spend a little bit of time answering some more of the questions that some of you had. I'm at an hour now. I started about 10 minutes late. So I'm gonna throw at least another 15, 20 minutes into this for those of you who want to hang on and stay with me. Okay, so I'm going to pick up some of the questions, more questions you guys had. Okay, so for Brenna, I don't know if you're listening, Brenna, curious about staking. I've spoken a little bit about it. Again, that's proof of stake is a way to validate the legitimacy of a block created on a blockchain against the investment that the community makes in its delegation on the blockchain. Okay, I don't know if that was too many words in that sentence. So in the proof of stake model, instead of solving a complex puzzle, the network is awarding a block to the pool that has the most delegation, okay? But it can't keep awarding the same pool a block, or there would be only one pool and you wouldn't have a healthy decentralized network. So the protocol has to make a choice about which pool it's going to elect to lead the slot that makes the block, okay? And so the election process is based on percentage of stake, meaning if the total supply, like in the case of Cardano, is 31 billion, okay, it's 31 billion Cardano, it's quite a bit. And right now, after we decentralized last week, 20% of that 31 billion, or about 7 billion, is already staked in our stake pools, okay? Monetarily, I'll speak a little bit of that before I end on what that actually looks like in terms of dollars, okay? So that's a little bit about that for you, Brenna. Rob, Rob Fox, thanks for checking in with the question. I've already spoken a little bit about stake pools and a little bit about what I'm doing, and we can do more. I'm gonna do a video strictly on Cardano, strictly on proof of stake, and strictly on being a stake pool operator within the Cardano ecosystem. For those of you who are interested in my project and what I'm doing, I'll be doing that. This video is really intended to, I hope, educate you guys and give you guys more awareness on what is going on in the blockchain space, what is cryptocurrency, and how to get involved. Mercedes, thanks for checking in. I hope I've answered your questions about what is blockchain. And yes, it does serve as an alternative currency, as I've spoken of before. It all has to do with adoption. And because we're still really in the first decade of this technology, we're just out of the first decade, we're entering the second decade now of this technology and this opportunity. It's an early entry space, so investment is affordable, right? Like early adoption. It's happening now. I'll speak a little bit before I end on how to get involved and what some of the prices look like. Gabriel, is Bitcoin still a thing? I definitely spoke to Bitcoin quite a bit in this video. It is still a thing, obviously. It's still #1 in terms of market cap in the cryptocurrency environment, okay? It per token right now is just under 12,000. There's speculation that it's end of life, it's gonna go down, or that it's gonna go up. The problem I have with Bitcoin is it's very energy inefficient, as I showed you in the share that I did. It's consuming right now, you know, the energy equivalent of the country of Kuwait. I just can't stomach that in terms of environmental impact. So there's a lot of cheerleaders and a lot of people in Bitcoin, and you know, Bitcoin is a great blockchain. I'm not dissing Bitcoin in that way. I just know that over time, projects like Cardano and other ones in the sphere are looking at more energy efficient solutions that still have value, that still have a high degree of legitimacy and consensus validation. Alyssa, I know you doubled up there, and Gabrielle, I hope I answered your questions. Kelly, let's see, what is blockchain? I've spoke to the differences between centralized and decentralized. You get a sense for what that is. Centralized would be something to the effect of like this. You work for a corporation and you privatize the blockchain to offer utility and function to your corporation, to the environment of your corporation. So you use the technology that is blockchain to serve you privately. Okay. There's some argument that Bitcoin is centralized. Actually, it's considered a decentralized solution, but because there's so few mining apparatuses that have the funds to afford to be able to consume that much electricity and make Bitcoin, there aren't a lot of players in the Bitcoin space for that reason. So it's not truly decentralized, in my opinion. Deborah, I haven't talked about this. Is this a multi-level marketing scheme? Is this a scam? Certainly not a scam, although I will say this to all of you who are listening to this video. There is a ton of scamming going on right now because it's so popular, because it's exploding, because there's so much potential value, because people think they can get something for free. Everybody's trying to do their scam work on that and take advantage of the vulnerability that people have right now. Okay, I'm going to check in with my sis and make sure things are still going well here. And I'm still online with you guys. Okay, question from Dan. How can you earn money on your investment? Okay, I'm going to get into that. So just to wrap up with Deborah, I am not myself aware of any particular multi-level marketing schemes in the blockchain cryptocurrency space, but I have heard of them. And I've heard of them mostly through the scammers that are making it look like a project is that. And the reason that's happening is because you have people who are cheerleading for their project and are attacking other projects. It's very aggressive. It's very competitive in this space right now. So there are those agents and parties. So they're going to make a project look bad. And one of the ways they do that is by driving scams to drive down the perception of the project, or make it look like it's an MLM because people have a negative perception about MLM. So I hope that answers your question. Buying cryptocurrency, regulation, what's going on with that? So I'm going to jump into that a little bit right now with you guys. I know that's a big thing. Can we make money? How do we make money? So I'm going to share my screen again. And let's see here. Okay, I'm going to bring you guys into one of my accounts. You can see what's happening there. Okay, so don't be alarmed by what you see. There's a lot of information on this screen. Okay, I'm going to go through it a little bit. Actually, I'm going to back off. I'm going to go over to my wallet and go to my balance. Okay, let's say you want to make an investment in cryptocurrency. You see that there is a value in cryptocurrency, and you either want to do something like a pump and a dump, where you buy it, you wait for the value to accrue to a certain level, and then you sell it higher, and you make the monetary value difference, right? A lot of people doing that. There's a lot of pump and dumping going on in the cryptocurrency space. That's why the price goes around. A lot of times what we'll see with good projects is you'll see that the trends. In fact, this is a great example when I come over to the dashboard and we go to trade. And go to ADA. You kind of see it here. So in terms of buying and selling and the activity of buying and selling, a green cone is a candle of a period of time. It's called a candlestick. A period of time where buying and selling is taking place. If it's green, the majority of the activity is a buy and the value goes up. If it's red or hot pink in this case, the majority of the activity is a sell and the value goes down. So you can see here, this is Cardano. This is my project. I actually started back here around 5 cents, 5 cents a token, and it's slowly been going up. And you see it takes this path up and down. It hit a high point here last week, and it's kind of leveling out, which is a really good sign. It's not going back down. That means that the market has accepted the correction. The descending resistance, that is the negative perception that's pushing down on the value, is not strong enough to force it down, so it's staying up, okay? To give you guys an example, if I bought here, and we're here now, so I turned a portfolio of 10,000 US dollars into a portfolio of $16,000 over the last 3 months. Okay, that's just my own personal gain. That's about a 40% gain that I've seen. I know, if any of you are raising eyebrows, you should. It's the year 2020. We have a highly volatile market in the larger financial sphere. So if you're doing your research and you're picking your projects well, you can do really well financially right now in the cryptocurrency space, especially if you have a little bit of extra cash. Now, if you don't have a lot of cash, you just have $100 or $50 or whatever, you're going to be looking at investing in projects that are down here, that are down at 15 cents or 10 cents or 5 cents. Some of them are even 1 cent or less. And over time, they accumulate in value. So the process for moving your fiat money, that's what the money is that you have in your banks called fiat money. The process for moving your fiat money into an account kind of goes something like this. And I'll speak a moment to that. So in the cryptocurrency space, you have what are called exchanges, okay? And the exchange is responsible for moving a form of currency from one form to another, right? The exchange is where you take the fiat currencies, the yen, the euro, the US dollar, you bring them in through a process of verification of your identity. They allow you to withdraw funds from a bank that's established in the United States through the exchange, and you then deposit it into your account here on the exchange, okay? After the funds are deposited into the account on the exchange, they're inside of a US dollar wallet. And then you say, okay, well, I see that, you know, I have some money in that wallet now, and I want to go and I want to buy, let's say I want to buy some ADA, right? That's what I want to buy because that's the project that I'm in. So I already made a deposit of $55 into my account recently. There are different kinds of deposits, okay? There are deposits that are ACH debit deposits. Those deposits have a verification time. The buying power of that deposit doesn't happen right away, and the ability to withdraw that back is the longest on an ACH. It's the fastest on a wire, and if you use a debit card, or in some cases credit cards where they accept it, some exchanges do, but not a whole lot, especially from the United States. There's a lot of regulation around this industry right now. There's a lot of the cryptocurrency industry is threatening traditional fiat a lot in a lot of different countries. So there's a lot of political regulation coming in to try and make sure that doesn't happen too quickly, because what's really also happening is the fiat currencies are going to cryptos. That eventually is going to happen. And so we're early entry here. We're getting a taste for what eventually your kids are going to be using, most likely, to handle their financial transactions. So in this particular case, I'm going to check back in here with my sis and make sure I'm still online and you can still see the screen that I'm in. Oh, good. Okay. I don't know. That was probably an older message. Let me know, sis, if you can still see the screen here, and this is still streaming. So the process that I'm in right now, okay, good. The process that I'm in right now is I've already made a deposit through the Binance exchange, Binance.us specifically, of $55 into my United States dollar wallet. So you can see here, I don't know if you guys can read this, When I click on, I want to buy ADA at this price and use 100% of my available funds, or 75% of my available funds, 50, 25, etc. Okay. Now, I happen to know, I'm going to actually do a 75%. Let's give you guys a little tip on this. The exchange is going to process your order for the purchase of the cryptocurrency more quickly if you are buying it at a higher price than what it's selling at. If you want to buy it at a lower price than what it's selling at, you have to wait for the order to execute based on the conditions of the market. Okay, things don't happen right away when the price is at the exact selling or even under. So because I kind of want to move this, I'm actually going to say I'm going to pump this guy up. I'm a Cardano guy, so I'm going to say I want to spend. I want to buy Cardano at 15 cents, and I'm actually going to have to change this a little bit because it's a little bit more than my balance. I have $55 in the account right now that I just did for a test for you guys. So this is telling me that I'm going to buy Cardano at 15 cents a coin. I'm going to buy 365 of them, okay? And I am going to, it's going to cost me $54.75. I'm going to click buy. Yes, I know it's higher than market price. I'm very happy doing that. It's people like me that raise the market price. It's one of the ways that market price goes up, is you buy it at a higher price that it's selling at, drives up the value. Okay, so I just bought some cryptocurrency, okay? I bought, what is that, 345 shares. Check it out. I'm gonna do a little math here for you guys. So, 345 shares times the value that I bought it at is equal to about $51.75, okay? It's fees and stuff. So let's just say that this crypto is having a really good day, okay? Good week, good month, whatever you want to call it. And its value is, the perception of the value in the exchange markets is going up. And you have 346 crypto that you bought of this particular crypto. Let's say it goes up to $1, right? That's kind of easy math, 346 times 1. So in that amount of time, your investment went from $55 in value to $346 in value. It's that simple. It's not more complicated than that. When you're ready to liquidate the cryptocurrency and bring it back into your US dollar wallet, all you're doing is selling it, okay? And you sell it by coming over here, choosing how much of it you want to sell. 346. Now, if I sell it now, I'm going to lose money, so I'm not going to do it. But if I sell this ADA, it's going to come back into my account, and I can then withdraw that amount back into my wallet, okay? And to give you guys an idea of how much money is moving in this space, I'm going to come back over to my balance. Look at what the 24-hour withdrawal limit is. $1 million. There's a reason they put that limit there. It's because there's people making that. On a daily basis, that kind of money is moving through here. So, you know, in my own investment, to give you guys an example, I have myself 113,000 coins of this cryptocurrency that I made an early purchase on. When I multiply that by its value right now, this is the value, right? So I've made $6,000 in the last 3 months. That's pretty good money. I put in 10, I made 6. What happens when this goes to what I think it's going to go to? Why do I think it's going to go to a higher value? The utility of the project, its meaningfulness to its ecosystem, the value that it's providing its ecosystem and to the world, right? over time that goes up. There is a time, I'll give you guys it's a funny story and it's a sad story. I had a friend who was an early Bitcoin miner. Okay, this is before Bitcoin went to $10,000 or $20,000 a coin, and he mined 400 Bitcoin. Okay, and so what did he do with the 400 Bitcoin? He bought a pizza with it. Yes, the pizza place already saw the value of the Bitcoin he bought a pizza with 400 Bitcoin. Okay, this is probably somewhere between 2009 and 2013 or something like that. Let's just say that he held on to his pizza money and he sold it today. Yeah. The numbers get big, guys. The numbers get big. This is a real investment space. The primary reason I am bringing this information to you is because you can take a little and make a lot if you do your research, you make investments in good projects that are doing their research and their due diligence in bringing meaningful value to this ecosystem that is the blockchain technology and cryptocurrency space. Not only are we talking about monetary value here, we're also talking about, again, the utility. What problems are we solving in the world, right? What's happening in the world that the blockchain can do better? What's happening in the world that the blockchain can solve, right? Those are the kinds of things that are coming. And I personally, being in the technology space for the last 20 years, I wish I had gotten in a lot sooner. Never too late, right? But you know, it gets more and more challenging as time goes on. So early entry is definitely a worthwhile endeavor. I'm going to give you guys here a quick screenshot. This is actually a live view of a website called CoinGecko. And this gives you an idea of where the valuations of these different cryptos are. Here's Bitcoin. It's actually a little less than 11,700 right now. You can see it's gone up 5% in the last 7 days, and in the last 24 hours, it's gone up 3.5%. Okay, so you get an idea of the volume of it. $22 billion in volume has moved in the last 24 hours, and it has a market cap of 214 billion. Okay, so there's a lot of money in this space. To give you guys an idea of why I'm so excited about Cardano in this case, Ethereum, this one here in second place in terms of market cap, was founded by the current CEO of Cardano. Okay, Charles Hoskinson founded Ethereum, brought it to the ecosystem, saw that it was a dead end in terms of the vision and the solutions he wanted to bring to the planet in terms of a new global financial system, digital identity, banking services for the bankless, things like that, decentralization, power for the people by the people. That's the kind of project that Cardano is. And so he came over to Cardano and he's been working on that project for 3 years. Incredible team, incredible research. This to me is a high undervaluation. I know in my understanding of what I've seen, it's going to be at least half of what Ethereum's value is right now, at least half, right? Which means if you get in now with even just this one, you're going to do very well in the next 3 to 5 years, very well, maybe even retirement. And this really is one of the reasons why I'm bringing this all to you guys. So I think I'm going to, if there's no more questions, I'm going to wrap this up. Any more questions? Thank you so much, Sabrina. I got to practice with Facebook Live a little bit more and getting the handle of being able to see the comments and be able to respond to your questions while it's live. So if there's any more questions from anyone who's watching, we're at an hour and 16 minutes now that I've been live with you all. So let's see if there's any other questions out there. Dan's question. Okay. I think I answered Dan's question, but I'll recap a little bit. So Dan's question was, how can you earn money on your investment? Right. So I did answer that, but I'll go ahead and answer it again real quickly. So here are the steps you want to take. The first step is in doing some research and spending some time getting consult and guidance on which of the cryptocurrencies you want to invest in. And that choice is going to be made through a combination of factors: what you can afford to invest in and what you are really excited about, what project is solving a problem in the world that you want to solve, okay? So after you make that determination, and you could use this list as an example, there's, look at all these cryptos, guys. Look at all these cryptos. Wow. Raven coin, 2 cents, right? Look at this guy, he's way down there, SIA coin. Some of these coins, give them time and they go straight up, okay? So after you make a choice about what crypto you want to invest your money in, you pick an exchange. So exchanges could be Binance, Bittrex, Coinbase, Kraken, CEX. CoinSwitch is an interesting tool, okay? I'll speak very briefly to that. Let's say that you have a crypto that you have access to in an exchange that you can move fiat US dollar into and get access to the crypto, okay? Let's say you buy, a fraction of a Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin, by the way. You can buy a piece of a Bitcoin. It still has value. So let's say you buy a fraction of a Bitcoin that's worth $100. And let's say that the cryptocurrency that you're researching is not listed in the exchange that you're a part of, okay? But the crypto does have an exchange rate with Bitcoin, let's say. Most of them do. It's called a trading partner. And so something like CoinSwitch, and I'll go here for a moment so you can see what this looks like. What CoinSwitch does is it says, hey, instead of going to an exchange, if you have a wallet that has Bitcoin in it and you want to get access to a cryptocurrency that is not listed in your exchange, two things have to happen. You have to find a way to get a wallet for that crypto. Every crypto has its own wallet, okay? And a lot of the wallets have applications that you can download onto your iPhone or your Android. Make sure you do a little research. So there are scammers out there in the wallet space, and some of them are scamming the wallets themselves and trying to steal your crypto from you. Not a whole lot of that, but there is some. So when you find the crypto that you want to get to that is not listed in the exchange that you're in, the first thing you have to do is make sure that you have a wallet somewhere on your computer or on the phone that has an address attached to it, a wallet address, okay? Once you have that address, you can come to a tool like this, CoinSwitch, and move the Bitcoin out of the exchange wallet that you put it into the wallet that you found for the crypto that's not listed on the exchange, okay? I hope that's clear to you. So that's a way to get access to a wallet that's not on an exchange. I can actually show you here briefly. I'm going to go to my Lumi wallet. This is one of the wallets out there. Okay, it's a little wallet that I'm playing with. I got some guidance on a few cryptos that if I leave them in there for a while, they're probably going to be worth a lot of money. And so I bought 1,000 shares of Status and 1,000 shares of Streamer. And these guys are like in the cents, right? They're really down there. So this is an example of what a Streamer wallet looks like. Okay, I'm not going to give you any personalized information, but this is kind of what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't look like you can too well because this background shader thing. Yeah, that's not going to work. Anyways, point being, you're going to need to do some research in the crypto that you want to invest in. the major cryptos that you saw on the list back here on CoinGecko, they all have wallets. Okay, they all have wallets either on computers or on phones, and most of them are listed in the major exchanges, so they're easier to invest in. They also have higher market caps, so a little harder to invest in if you don't have a lot of free flowing cash. So you got to be creative in crypto right now as far as where you get it from. So I hope that I answered your question, Dan. Once you have that crypto and you have it in a wallet and you have access to an exchange, you can sell the crypto that will put the funds for that back in the wallet on the exchange, and then you can move those funds back to your bank account and do what you would normally do with those funds otherwise, right? That's how it works. So there's a path that your money takes. It goes from fiat to an exchange. From an exchange, you make a purchase of a crypto that's listed in the exchange, and now that crypto sits in your wallet. If that's the crypto that you wanted, and all you want to do is just wait for it to get bigger, you just let it sit there. And then eventually, it most likely will if you did your research and the project's doing well. When you're ready to sell it, just like you would in the stock market, right? Pumped up, you sell it to the exchange. Somebody out there buys it at the price that you want to sell it at, and now you have you've liquidated it and you've converted the value back to US dollar. So I hope that answers your questions. What else is out there? Let me see what else my sis has got going on. Let me know, Sabrina, if there's any more questions out there. Thank you, Michelle, for your comments and your cautions. Yes, I'm all about security. I'm an IT guy also, so I look at that very carefully and make sure that we're being careful. But yeah, security is a big thing. And to kind of wrap up, blockchain is also really good for security. Because so much effort goes into the consensus validation process, right? When a block is created, it doesn't just get chained and accepted on the blockchain right away. There's a lot of peers that have to say, oh yeah, I see that, that's good, I validate that, and that happens sometimes 1,000 times. Binance wants to confirm that transaction that you made with them 15 times before it'll show up in your accounts, to give you an idea, right? So those confirmations are a form of security as well, and there's a bunch of other forms of it in the space that I'll speak to on other lives. So if you want to do another live, drop a comment and let me know other things that you want to hear about and learn about. I'm really here as an educator to empower you guys and to give you the information that you need to make informed choices and to make choices that are going to be very liberating financially here in the next 3 to 5 years, assuming that some asteroid doesn't come and hit the planet, or we don't explode ourselves or do horrible things to each other. This is going to be here probably for the many generations to come, from what I'm seeing. So we're really building legacies here. We're solving problems in the world, and we're, also one of my biggest wants is the redistribution of wealth, right? Right now, at least in this country, 99% of the wealth is trapped, I would say, trapped in 1% of its population. That's wrong, in my opinion. I'm not dissing all the people who have worked hard for their fortunes and for their wealth, like I am and like all of us are. We're working hard for it. But that's not a balanced society when it comes to economy, in my opinion. And so cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is one of the factors and forces that attempts to solve that problem, okay? And other problems as well. So thank you so much for your time. I hope this is valuable to you, and I'll definitely do more as time goes on. And if you're interested, of course, in Cardano, I am a stake pool on the blockchain. I'm making blocks, or I hope to make blocks. And I'm really excited about the project. So I have a YouTube channel that I'll post on Facebook at some point. I'll be doing videos about how to get involved specifically with that project. All right. I love you guys, all my friends out there. Thanks for wanting this and for being curious and for calling me out. It's my first Facebook Live. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great evening, guys. Let's see here. Now I have to figure out how to end it. I did it. I'm doing it. I'm still live. I'm going to end now. All right. Love you guys. Have a good one.